Hello everyone, welcome to News Extra, and we're talking about Oregon Trail Days today. A whole lot of things going on. July 11th through the 14th, the oldest continuous celebration in Nebraska. And I have Mike Minzey here with me, along with Bill Peters, members of the committee. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Scott.
You bet. You know, we've talked previously about a bunch of other items, things that people need to register for, like the volleyball tournament and the new wrestling, beach wrestling that's taking part. But there's a lot of things that have been stalwarts of Oregon Trail Days for quite a while that we need to discuss as well. And one of them is always something that's a favorite, it's food.
That's right. The International Food Fair occurs on Friday, beginning at 3 p.m. For the committee. And we have a 2-hour setup time.
Oh my. And
then the public and all the food's ready to go at 5 o'clock, and it'll run till 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, and that's a nice way to get really into Oregon Trail Days. And what kind of different fare can people expect at the food fair this year?
You know, we've had everything. We've had people come from Lincoln with Italian food. We've had Greek food in years past. We've had people come in from northwestern Nebraska with their chuck wagons and food trucks with food truck fare, Mexican food, and all sorts of things. Frozen ices and ice creams and things like that. And it just depends on who wants to come in and who wants to set up and have a good time, and there's going to be a lot of people.
Yeah, there definitely will be. Of course, it's going to be located in the downtown area.
That's right.
As it always is. And it kind of goes at the same time. We've got the custom car show that happens basically the same time in the same general area.
We kind of partnered with the car show with the food fair. Bill mentioned a number of things that I could duplicate, and that is that the car show runs from 5 until 9. We have a setup time at 3. And we're open for any type of vehicle that people would be interested in showing. There's no registration fee. We're having four trophies that we'll give out on that. But this is, and it's a stalwart, as you mentioned a little bit ago. This is our 15th year.
Yep.
It's just a kind of a laid-back, easy-going Friday night in front of the courthouse under the trees. People can get food at the food fair and come on down and look at the cars, or they can be involved with the cars and get hungry, go up and work with the food fair people.
Now, do people need to pre-register for that, or is it just show up and,
and
be
just show
set?
up and be fine. Yep.
Okay.
We've had a steady number of around 80 to 90 the last several years, and we see no reason for that to change. So yeah, no prior registration. Just come on in.
Okay, and for food vendors, is that all set or something?
There are vendors still sending in their applications, and the committee will meet in a few days and try to map out how we're going to organize things, and that's always an interesting time because there's requirements that people have, and we want to make sure that people are placed where they can best offer their treats for the public.
And of course, there's a whole lot more going on with the Oregon Trail Days. In addition to food and cars, of course, there's the parades, both the kiddie and the regular parade, as well as the quilt show, and we'll be back on News Extra to talk about that in just a moment. And we're back on News Extra. My guests today are Mike Minzey and Bill Peters, members of the Oregon Trail Days Organizing Committee. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks for inviting us.
We've been talking about a variety of different things happening at Oregon Trail Days, two of which, of course, the International Food Fair as well as the car show, both of which taking place pretty much simultaneously in Gering at the same time, right out on 10th Street, as I seem to recall.
You are correct.
But there's more to that, the event, I should say, than just that. Of course, two of the very perennial favorites are the Kiddie Parade, which is Friday, which is going to be taking off at 10 o'clock in the morning. The registration 9:15 to 9:30, and then of course it kicks off at 10 o'clock. The location for the start is Legion Park, is where everybody needs to be. And then of course the big parade coming up on Saturday that tends to gather in a lot of dignitaries from all over.
Traditionally, we have people coming from across the state and sometimes across the country to appear, and we have dignitaries, we have local officials, but we have floats and a band and people just enjoying a parade.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And of course, the one thing that's not allowed and hasn't been for quite a while is tossing of candy from floats or participants in the parade and having that tossed out to kids in the crowd, because it's just a
Totally
safety
a
safety hazard.
That's right.
You bet.
Yes.
Yeah, it's totally a safety issue in that case. So I'm sure people have candy. They might hand it out after the parade if they have the desire to do so.
A couple of things I'd like to mention, if I could, Scott, on
Sure.
the big parade, is that we'd like to have for all the floats that come in, the floats assemble at Gearing High School. People are always asking about that. But we definitely would like to have those floats decorated before they come in. That Gearing High School parking lot just isn't big enough for all the activity that goes on if we fill it with people trying to decorate a float.
This is true.
So please have that ready to go when you come in off of U Street and into that Gearing parking lot.
And of course, the parade itself, the lineup actually starting at 8 o'clock, pretty early in the morning, 8
It is
o'clock.
early.
And then the parade itself taking place, I'm trying to see my time here.
Starts at 10.
Starts at 10. Yeah, that's
sharp.
right. Starts at that time, and then off and running with it. And of course, the other thing that's going on that does have a change of venue this year is the quilt and art show.
Well, that's the quilt show.
Or the quilt show, I
Art
should
show
say.
will continue to be at the Civic Center, but
Yeah.
the quilt show has been at Zion Church for
Yeah.
a number of years. They're going under a renovation process and cannot accommodate the quilters this year. So the quilt show has moved to the new Lincoln Elementary School
Oh, that's awesome.
over on roughly 13th and Q.
So if
14th
you
and Q.
if you haven't had the opportunity to see the new Lincoln Elementary School, you'll get that
Probably
opportunity
so. Yes.
with the quilt show. There's a whole lot of really neat things going on at Oregon Trail Days. If you haven't had the opportunity, definitely stop by their website, in which you can find a complete schedule of everything that's going on. Of course, it starts up Thursday evening with the cookout that happens out on 10th Street, and then it's just off to the races from there, ending on Sunday with of course the quilt
Jubilee
show and then the
night,
Gospel
yep.
Jubilee.
Right, and on Thursday night, the art show opens. Opens to the public at 7.
Yep.
And there are a number of new artists coming in, I understand, and there'll be the auction of work that's done right there on site, as well as a traditional large number of artists with all types of things being shown.
Yeah, a couple other events we want to tell people about and remind people of taking place. Of course, the Old Settlers Luncheons, the Legacy of the Plains Barbecue on Saturday at from noon to 2, I should say. Of course, the activities involving mud wrestling and other things such as that. And of course, there's also the horseshoe tournament. Can't forget that.
Yes.
$10 entry fee on that one. You can contact Tim Shasky evenings and weekends for that. So that's the Oregon Trail Days coming up July 11th through the 14th. An annual tradition, the 98th annual here in the Gehring, and closing in on number 100.
We are
Not
getting
too
close.
far away.
Yeah, not too far. We're starting to plan now.
You're going to have to do something different to top all of these
right.
that have led up to it.
We're thinking about it.
Mike, Bill, thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
joining
Scott.
us on News Extra today.
Thank you for the opportunity.